Hello guys, welcome everyone back to another episode of Mandel Monday. This is the series you guys ask the questions and I of course answer them. This can be to do with anything related to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO investing, or maybe future update related questions for an example. If that's Source 2, maybe an operation, or would we get an operation, or something like the 10th anniversary update where we got the birthday capsule, and of course just a couple maps when Valve is kind of lazy. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have any questions about that, leave them down below with Ask Mando, and then ask your question. Now I'm happy to say I'm finally back home in my setup, which I'm very happy for. That was kind of the reason Mandel Monday was delayed for such a long time, because I didn't have any of my gear, didn't have any of my equipment, and we couldn't really film that. But now it's just a weekly series kind of alongside of CSGO news, where we answer you guys' questions and any community questions, which I'm very excited for. And before we go any further for this week's video, if you guys haven't already subscribed and are new to the channel, make sure you do so for weekly CSGO news, CSGO updates, and of course CSGO content. And here's a quick word from our video sponsor, Skins Monkey. Now today's video sponsor is of course Skins Monkey. Now if you guys are unfamiliar with what Skins Monkey is, they are currently the biggest growing Counter-Strike Global Offensive trading marketplace for skins, which is absolutely amazing, with great fees as well. Let's just say you guys have some skins you're really not feeling anymore. Skins Monkey is the best way to trade them. In this trade, to be exact, I actually profited 18 cents, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but considering it's a trading website, it's actually very good. Sign up today to get up to a $5 bonus, which is very nice. And if you've never used the website before, well, you can use my code MANDO, go up to the top right, you claim that bonus. And if you guys want to deposit with real life cash or crypto, you get a 25% deposit bonus, which is very nice. So with our first week back, this might be a longer video than normal, but there's quite a few questions. And right off the rip, I have to say thank you guys recently for all the support on my videos. I've been getting, just going through all my comments, and I'm seeing a lot more support than usual for whatever reason. It seems to be that really people are enjoying my content, which you really couldn't ask for more as a content creator. It just means a lot at the end of the day. And on top of that, I know a lot of you guys want me to put this on Spotify, or at least Mandel Monday, or some of the more documentary style videos like CSGO news maybe, or something like this where it's a little longer, and I'm looking into doing that right now, just letting you guys know. Maybe TikTok as well, but we'll stick on Spotify for now probably, and YouTube. And also some changes in the market, like I have made some videos on. Antwerp is currently down the toilet, but with Antwerp being down, so is Stockholm and really every other sticker inside of CSGO. For example, Katowice 2015, DreamHack 2014, Cologne 2014, all the stickers are dropping down in price. This is probably for many different reasons. There's usually one, burnout on some of the stickers, especially Antwerp. We've had such a long time where you could buy them. The huge reason these have dropped so much in price is pretty much Valve's fault. There was someone who came out and saying, hey, we're actually going to remove these in a certain amount of time, instead of just removing them from the game. That created a lot of panic and a lot of panic buyers at that time, and that created a lot of supply, not really matching the demand we have right now. And with the CS10 sticker capsule, everyone's eyes and attention is on that right now. And with so many stickers getting put out into the game with that kind of monetary item, it's not really creating enough time for the average Joe or someone like me or you to have soak in all the other stickers in the game. And that's usually the best part of CS, is when there's not really much going on, especially for items to go up like we had the past couple of months. Without an operation, we've seen a lot of new all-time highs for items. And that's because people aren't buying something that's currently on the item shop or something new from an operation. People have to go back and look at older items. That's partially the reason we're seeing so many increases in price, but also decreases of something like stickers. So I have more videos coming on that very soon, but without further ado, let's hop into some questions. Now our first question up, and this guy says, ask Mando, high tier skins and crutch cases get often more expensive along with the case. So is it a good idea to essentially stock up on some of those reds inside of the cases that go up as a long-term investment? And this is a very good question. I have some great examples for you of stuff that does work, but also doesn't. It doesn't always work out the way you intended it to. Sometimes it does, really just depends. But essentially what it comes down to is you have to buy a skin in a case that's really good. It has to have good golds, usually has to have good everything, and on top of that has to be a skin that people are going to use and enjoy in the future that is a red. You can't invest into a case because it has a really good blue, a purple, or even only pink, unless it's really old, of course, like a red line. But even then, it's a lot easier to get than a red. And Stat Track is a whole different story. I would say Stat Track is really for a certain individual. They're also kind of hard to sell. If you buy Stat Track knife or a Stat Track skin, especially in a situation and scenario like this, might be difficult for you to sell in the future. Just saying, if you're buying a whole bunch of them. But instead of showing you all the good examples of something working out, I'm going to show you an example of when this is not working out and how much I've seen this in the past. It doesn't happen very much where a case comes out and the reds are really bad to the point people don't want them in the next little while or the next few years. Good example of this is the revolver case. Now, the revolver case came out in 2015, I believe, at the very end, early 2016. And this, of course, has the Royal Paladin and the Revolver Fade. Two skins at the time people really enjoyed, especially the R8, but when that got nerfed, no one used it, and over time, there was a lot better M4A4 skins for a very cheap price compared to what this is right now. And the revolver case recently, the reason I'm picking this is because it increased so much in price. So you would think a lot of the skins inside of it would go up, but that's actually not the case here. Most people are unboxing this case, and that's something you have to keep in mind when investing into a case or a skin for that case, is people are buying this case strictly to open the knives. It has older knives, everything besides the chroma knives. That's something you have to keep in mind right there. So this, I'm going to take a look at all these examples for their price in December of 2021 when most people would have bought them, and of course what they are now for the skins and the case. So the case for the revolver case is 10 cents in December, around there. Now it is 41 cents. How does that correlate to the M4A4 Royal Paladin? Now this is a skin not a whole lot of people enjoy, maybe even know about. There's so many that look very similar to this. This in December was $86. Now it is $73, so it has dropped a little bit down in price. I would say because people were FOMOing, panicking with the M4A4, M4A1S buffs and nerfs whatsoever, just throughout time. But with the case pretty much 5xing itself in just the past few months, this has gone down in price and it really hasn't gone up any further, and it doesn't really have the best future either. That's just an example though where this doesn't really work out. Now, of course, if the R8 one day got buffed, the R8 Fade, in my personal opinion, would probably go to the moon, and same with this case, but then that would be just really, really weird. You'd have fake prices for things that most likely won't be, because Valve will probably fix that in the future, and people aren't going to want those anymore. And that will create a lot of non-demand for this item specifically. Now, an example where this actually has worked out very well, and this is something, as an example, you'll want to keep out for in the future, is something like the Spectrum case. Now, the Spectrum case in December of 2021 was around 55 to 40 cents, depending on where you bought it from. At the time you bought it on the day of the Steam market, of course. Now it's $1.21, which is just absolutely crazy. Pretty much doubled up in price, if not a little more, depending on where you bought it. Now, the AK Bloodsport back in December of 2021 was $63. This is now $80. This, in my personal opinion, was a successful investment. You'll make a lot more if you go specifically into the case, but some people want to play skins investment, and this is a great example and a great way to do so. You have to buy a skin that's going to be in demand in the future. It is kind of hard to do that, but if a skin and a case specifically is already going up in price, and it's out of the primary active duty drop pool, so you can no longer get these cases, that's a route and way I would take specifically. Now, our next question up here is, of course, from Sanzai, and he says, not sure if I'm supposed to ask questions in Mandel Monday, but ask Mando, how do you feel about the Prisma 2 and the longevity of it? I bought some back in April of 2022 for around 6 cents. Now they're 15. Do you think prices for this case will rise more or kind of decrease in price? And this is a great question. I'm glad you answered it. It's a question I get about the Prisma 2 all of the time, and really for any CSGO item right now. CSGO prices are at an all-time high for the majority of things, like I said, besides stickers at the beginning of the video. With the player count reaching and going over 1 million for no specific reason, without an operation, without Source 2, that's absolutely crazy. The demand is there for skins, the demand is here for content, and while with more players, they're going to want to open cases and whatnot. And right now is something you don't really see a whole lot of the time, and something I don't see a lot of other people covering or talking about. The past few months with the rising player count, we've seen a lot of increases in price. As far back as almost March, we started seeing these initial price hikes, and some were actually higher than now. At the end of the day, you have to pick and choose your battles. There's pros and cons to each thing. If you wait out and play the long term, you're going to be playing more. You could be in a drought where you could lose half of that value on that case for the matter of 6 or 7 months. Or it could go 2 times. But once again, that's kind of gambling at the end of the day, and you have to just go with your gut. And if you need the cash, I'd get out, go into something else that's maybe a little more stable than something like that. Now, our next question up here is, of course, from Adren. He says, which category of investments for CSGO is the best in my opinion? Majors are 50-50, operations are questionable, old ones have low ROI. So, very good question here. I really am glad you picked this. This is probably one of the best I've received in a little while. And well, it's pretty easy right now. Majors have always been really, really sketch past 3 years anyway. Operations, we don't know if we're getting any. Operations are kind of oversaturated at the same time too. I mean, you look at agents and you look at patches. I know everyone suggested and talked about that. Master Shiny has a really, really good video that he just put out on agents. It pretty much just sums up how I feel. They're good if you buy 1 or 2 of them, but what people are doing now is they're buying like 300 of them, and for the next operation, he also talked about how we're getting too many agents every single year when we're getting 30 a year. It's going to oversaturate the market for how many people actually want to buy agents. And the same thing is to be said with stickers. If Valve keeps releasing stickers every single year the way they're going, where we're getting 300 every single year, eventually stickers are going to feel somewhat worthless, and some ones are just not going to be great overall. You take a look at Stockholm 2021. There are some really big pros to this event specifically, but the biggest downside, I would say, is we're getting so many stickers like in Antwerp that are so nice, that are so similar. So what's the point of going back and buying these older ones for a higher price, if that makes any sense whatsoever? But cases have been proven to be the best investment as of the past couple years anyway inside of CSGO. And really, if you compare to back in the day, they are the best right now. You have to buy in at the right time. Would I suggest buying in right now? Absolutely not. You kind of have to wait for a really big downtrend in prices for CSGO. Everyone always talks about investing into CS, and I don't feel like anyone ever talks about not buying in. And right now is just one of those times where I would not suggest it. I've seen too many people get burned over this the past few years. It's just not that great of an opportunity at this moment. Now, if October, November rolls around, and it is, I'll be sure to make a whole bunch of videos on that. But the past few months on my channel, I've been really against buying into CS, really besides anything like a major. Unless something obviously is down in price, then go for it. But if not, I would just hold on for now. Now, our next question up here is from Central, and he says, do you think it's a good time to sell cases like the Revolver case, Prisma 2, Danger Zone, and Chroma cases? So kind of similar to everything in the motto of the channel and this video specifically, right now is a good time to sell. Yes, especially Chroma 2 and Chroma 3 cases. They are up significantly. Chroma 2 reaching over $1 once again. Chroma 3 is pushing 90 cents. Danger Zone was pushing 17 a little while ago. Prisma 2, the same thing. Revolver case is pushing 40. If you were someone like myself who bought in quite a bit of stuff like cases and whatnot back in November, December of 2021, you're going to see a large ROI. I would suggest cashing out now and not really looking back. That's just my personal opinion. Take what's guaranteed now and kind of forget what you could be making in the future. Now, our next question and comment up here from Pandab. This is directed at my Antwerp sticker video, the market overview of the future of Antwerp stickers, where essentially I said Valve killed this major specifically for buy-ins, for selling, and just investing in general. And he says, you're forgetting the Rio major stickers releasing in 2 months are going to have a background. Now, this is obviously speculative. We don't know if it's going to have a background, but if most people had to guess, it's most likely going to. Antwerp and Stockholm capsules are going to skyrocket in price, and I think it's the most probable outcome since the major won't be hosted by PGL. So good point right there, but also there's some things we don't know if they're going to be borderless. We don't know if Valve's just going with this new route and new motto because they're making a lot of money off of this. We don't really know. Valve is a money-hungry company, just like everyone else. They just do it a little better and respect people just a little bit more. I have someone who has DM'd me on Discord some pictures of what these major stickers could look like. I think they're pretty good. Were they close to what they were back in Stockholm and Antwerp 2021 and 2022? Kind of, but not really. I think these are pretty creative. It kind of takes what Katowice 2019 had and turning it somewhat into something a little more modern and realistic. I like the way a lot of these look. I think it's possible to see some of these in the future. And well, I think these look pretty good. People might also be burnt out on the borderless background. That's something to keep in mind too. Is that the realization and possibility right there? Most likely not. But it's something you have to keep in mind and just try and not forget here. Me personally, I think they're going to have a background as well, but only time will tell on that. It's hard to make decisions based off of that without really calling it a legal gamble, if that makes any sense. Now, our next question and comment up here from Kevin, and he says, note this, new operation coming in November, December, Source 2 is coming out next year, August 21st. So, okay, we'll keep note of that. Will it happen? Probably not, but you never know. Now, our last question up here is, of course, from Zombie, and he says, how would Source 2 affect the 3D thematic skin prices on holo stickers? Will Source 2 change the holo and foil effects in a certain way, brightening and shading, etc.? What are your thoughts at Luke Eats? So, very good question, and it's a good question to close the video off with today. This is something I've covered before, but also isn't really guaranteed. We don't know much about Source 2 at this point in time. I want to make a video in the next couple of weeks on how it's not really as much and as big as people thought it was just not that long ago. And well, this is the best example I have and many other people right now of what it's going to do for skins. Essentially, it's going to make things more pearlescent. And I have a couple of videos from the past, like the CSGO book of how skins are created, on how CSGO is very limited right now to what they can make just based off of the Source 1 engine. So we're currently on the Source 1 engine. We want to upgrade to Source 2. And right now, instead of having 3D effects, for example, or lighting like this, Valve, or when skin creators, for example, want to make skins that are looking 3D, a great example is the Mac 10 button masher, I believe. It looks like it's 3D. But in CSGO, with the limitations from the engine, they have to make it pretty much 3D, but it's just a drawing. It's not like Call of Duty or Valorant where you have all these flashy things and keychains hanging off of it. That's another reason why I don't think keychains are in CS, is because the graphic limitations from the Source 1 engine. So with Source 2, technically, I would say a lot of these skins are going to go up in price, but only time will tell. I think there's going to be a lot of problems, more so than there are really good things that happen at the beginning, just because it's going to be a brand new thing, but only time will tell. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Once again, if you guys have a question for next week's video, next Mandel Monday, leave it down below. Peace out, guys.